What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of MLB action here on Thursday, May 23rd. We had a solid winning day there on Wednesday, guys. Things worked out pretty well for us. We still had the Dodgers minus 1.5. That game still going on, but we hit Cleveland minus 126. They got the come from behind win for us in that one. Milwaukee, Miami over. That did not work out at all. We saw only one run scored in that game, so super weird game for sure. Padres minus 124, though. That one came through pretty easily. Atlanta minus 139, taking the win in that game also, and the Phillies put up a ton of runs for us to win 11-4 in that game. The Phillies are just looking insane right now, so guaranteed at least a 4-1 day overall. If we can get the Dodgers minus 1.5 to come through, that'll be up to 5-1. So let's try and keep things rolling here with a short Thursday slate. First, do me a big favor and hit that like button. It's a great way to show some support for the channel and all the work we put in every single day. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free and can keep you from missing out on these picks. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. Comment below with all the bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We respond to absolutely every single comment, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our final picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day, guys. We've got the Seattle Mariners going on the road to take on the New York Yankees. Seattle comes into this game probably pretty disappointed with how things looked here in Game 3 of this series. They lost 7-3 after winning the first two games in pretty close games. So, I mean, I guess you got to take the good with the bad here, but Seattle's up to 27-23 on the season. They're trying to hold off the Rangers and the Houston Astros for the lead there in the AL West. They're handing the ball in this game to Luis Castillo, who's been pretty good this season in general. I mean, he's 4-5 overall with a 3.28 ERA, but he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 5 starts. His last time out against the Orioles, he gave 2 earned runs over 6 innings of work. He did walk 4 in that outing, so obviously not great there, but start before that, he looked very good against the Oakland A's, giving up only 2 earned runs. Start before that, he went 6 2/3 against the Twins, gave up only 2 earned runs. He struck out 7 in that one. He's just looked very, very good this season in general. Like, no complaints from me on how he's looking, at least over his last 5 starts, guys. I mean, with games against the Rangers, the Atlanta Braves in there, the Baltimore Orioles in there, like, these are some pretty solid hitting teams, and he's managed to kind of shut down all of them. The question is going to be, how can he do against a high-powered offense like the New York Yankees? We'll have to wait and see. The other question is, how will the Seattle Mariners bats look in this game? They've honestly not looked terrible in this series at all, guys. I mean, a departure from how they've looked in general this season. Over the course of their last 3, they've scored 3, 6, and 5 runs. Like, that's definitely plus hitting for this squad. Not the best offense out there at all. They're tied for 23rd in the majors in runs scored with 188. They're all the way down to 24th in the majors in team on-base percentage with an on-base percentage of 302. So that's also not incredible. Team slugging percentage of 379. Team batting average of only 229. We don't see anybody hitting the ball particularly well for them here, like out of the gates, or it's not even really out of the gates mode anymore, guys. I mean, it did take a huge come from behind and a pitcher apparently very clearly tipping his pitches for them to get one of their wins here in this series. And yeah, I mean, you got to take what you can get if you're the Seattle Mariners right now, and they're going to need to find a way to conjure up some offense here going up against the Yankees, who got that little bounce back win there with 7 runs in that game. We saw Juan Soto hit 2 home runs in that game. He was getting an MVP chance from the crowd. Like, things are looking up for the Yankees for sure on the season. I mean, they're 34-17. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, and really nothing wrong with handing the ball in this game to Luis Gil, who's been fantastic this season, guys. He's up to 5-1 on the season with a 2.39 ERA, and his last time out, he looked very, very good, albeit against the Chicago White Sox. Like, we're not freaking out here about great starts against the White Sox. Obviously, they're one of the worst hitting teams in the majors, but regardless, any outing going up against Major League bats where you strike out 14 hitters like Gil did in that one, you'll definitely take it. He gave up only a single earned run in that game. He only gave up 5 hits over 6 innings. Like, very, very big time plus stuff from him in that game. No bad things to say about that. His start before that was very good against the Tampa Bay Rays. He gave up only 3 hits and no runs. Start before that against the Astros, he gave only a single run on 1 hit. He did walk 4 in that outing, so maybe not amazing, but yeah, guys, just in general, this dude has been fantastic. He did have a questionable outing against the Milwaukee Brewers, but that was all the way back on the 26th of last month, so almost a month ago. So feeling very, very good with Luis Gil on the mound for sure if you're a Yankees fan. And yeah, the Yankees bats seem like they're back alive in this one. I mean, going up against Castillo probably doesn't feel insanely great for them, but this is one of the best hitting teams in the majors, guys. I mean, they're 4th in runs scored with 240 runs scored this season, 3rd in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 336 clip. That number has been steady all season long. Like, this has been a great on-base team all year long. fourth in the majors in slugging percentage, and fifth in the majors in batting average. We see Juan Soto obviously absolutely killing it right now. We see Aaron Judge leading the team with 14 home runs. Like, this team, big plus offensive team. And looking at the numbers for this game, we see the odds makers do not disagree. We've got the Yankees at -135. We've got the Mariners at +118. We've got an over-under game in this game of 8, with both teams showing trends towards the under, with Seattle going 27, 20, and 3 to the under, and the Yankees at 27, and 22, and 2 to the under. But I don't think we're too interested in the over-under in this game, guys. I'm much more interested in the side in this one. Seattle is only 12 and 13 on the road. The Yankees are 17 and 8 at home, and obviously swinging some pretty hot bats right here. And while Luis Castillo is not a terrible starting pitcher, I'm not super high on him right now. I mean, I think he's at least slightly gettable. He doesn't have any starts this season against the Yankees, but guys, I'm definitely leaning towards the Yankees -135 in this one. I think they'll find a way to get to Castillo at least a little bit. Luis Gil has obviously looked amazing, and yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of offense out of the Yankees, enough to get the job done in this game. This one's got some sort of shot to end up in the pinned comment. Moving right along here, guys, we got the San Francisco Giants going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We see the Giants coming into this game. They're 24 and 26 on the season, fresh off a 9-5 win here in Game 2 of this series, so they have to feel pretty good about that. I mean, it did end up going into the 10th inning, so that's not exactly ideal for both teams. We saw the Giants get a crazy come from behind win here. Very, very interesting game. Definitely an exciting one to watch. The Giants are handing the ball in this game to Mason Black, who's 0-1 on the season with a 7.71 ERA, so obviously not fantastic. His last time out was not very good against the Colorado Rockies. Start for that was decent against the Reds, but start for that he got knocked around by the Phillies, so this is not a guy who we're looking at as a plus starter. I mean, against the Rockies, guys, he went 3 innings, gave 6 hits and 4 earned runs and a home run. Not great stuff. We're not super high on this guy. I mean, he's a big right-hander, but he's a very young guy. He's only 24 years old. Got a lot to work on in his career, and right now out on the mound, he's just not having the best time. And while the Giants did score 9 runs in this last game, this is not an amazing offense. They have definitely been swinging their bats better lately, don't get me wrong. They had a very, very high-scoring series there against the Colorado Rockies, but yeah, not an offense that I can definitely trust. I mean, they are 10th in the majors now in batting average and 10th in the majors in on-base percentage, so we got to give them some credit. Maybe this is a team that's been slightly underperforming offensively this season so far, but yeah, not a team that I'm looking at as a big plus offensive team, and really neither is their opponent in this game, guys. I mean, looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates, they come into this game 23 and 27 on the season, and fresh off of that loss, they had won 2 in a row before that, and they've been playing relatively well. I mean, they've won 4 out of their last 6 overall, which is, yeah, pretty nice considering the fact this team's only 23 and 27 on the season. They've got to be very excited to hand the ball in this game to Paul Skeens, who's 1-0 with a 2.70 ERA, and coming off an absolutely dominating performance against the Cubs. He went 6 innings, gave up only a single walk, no runs in that game, and he struck out 11. Fantastic stuff from Skeens. We're very high on this young guy, looking amazing out there. He's kind of saying all the right things and doing all the right things right now. And man, when you're 6'6", 235, and you can throw absolute fireballs in there, there is nothing wrong with that. So definitely very high on this starter, and I'm sure the Pirates are high on him as well. The Pirates offense, though, has not been amazing. I mean, they scored 5, 7, 3, 0, 9, 5. They've been putting up semi-decent numbers here lately, don't get me wrong, but over the course of this season, guys, not a ton to be happy about for this offense. They are tied for 25th in the majors in runs scored with 187 runs scored. You're only scoring 187 runs through your first 50 games of the season. Not ideal. This team is getting on base at only a 302 percentage. That's not great. Batting 227 as a squad. We don't see anybody off to a particularly hot start hitting the ball for them. Just not a lot of positives to find here for this Pirates offense, but they might not need that much offense with Skeens out there on the mound, and the odds makers are not worried about them at all right now, guys. We see the Pirates at -158. The Giants are +134 in this game. We do see the Pirates are 10 and 13 at home, which isn't awful, and the Giants are only 9 and 16 on the road, which is obviously not great. Yeah, we're definitely going to be on the Pirates in this game, backing Skeens. It's going to be a little bit weird as both bullpens should be fairly tired, so we're going to need Skeens to go deep into this game, which is something I think he's actually capable of doing if he can just throw strikes and not maybe go so aggressively for all the strikeouts and go a little bit more pitching towards contact. But regardless, we're taking the Pirates -158 in this game. I think this is a very reasonable spot for them, especially playing at home. Next on the docket, guys, we have the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. We've seen the Rangers lose both of the first 2 games of this series pretty convincingly. They lost 5-2 and then 11-4, so not great. They're down to 24-26 on the season, and yeah, things are just not headed the way the Rangers were hoping for. They're handing the ball in this game to Andrew Heaney, who's now 0-5 on the season. He's got a 4.43 ERA, a number that's been at least slightly falling lately, but his last start against the Angels, guys, did not look great. He went only 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them were earned. He gave up a home run in that game. He walked 2 in addition to striking out 5, so I mean, not his worst performance of the year, but also not his best. This guy's had his moments this season for sure, but he hasn't exactly been facing a murderer's row over his last 5 starts. And yeah, we've only seen the Rangers win one of those starts. It was a game they won 4-2 against the Oakland A's. Yeah, this is just not somebody I'm willing to look at as a plus level starter right now. And I'm also not super ready to look at the Rangers offense as a plus level offense. I mean, over the last 4 games, it's were 3, 1, 2, and 4 runs. Like, that's just not great. This team is not trending in a positive direction offensively. They've got off to a pretty hot start, guys, but they're down to 11th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in batting average. They're down to 15th. They're down to league average in slugging percentage with a slugging percentage of only 388. Like, this is just not a team that's hitting the ball great right now. There's no way around it. Not very impressed with how they're swinging the bats, and they're going to need to find a way to put up some offense in this game going up against the Phillies, who are just looking absolutely dominant right now. They're 36-14, leading the MLB. It's the best start in the majors since 2001. Like, that's pretty crazy stuff, guys. I mean, they're just killing it right now. They're hitting the ball great, and their pitching is working out. They're handing the ball, speaking of pitching working out, to Zach Wheeler in this game. He's 5-3 with a 2.52 ERA, and coming off a fantastic start against the Washington Nationals, where he gave up only 2 earned runs on 3 hits. Over 7 1/3 innings. He struck out 6 and walked 3 in that outing, so not even his sharpest stuff, really, and he still managed to very comfortably get the job done. He did need to bounce back after a weirdly terrible outing against the Marlins, but seems like he got that out of his system and is ready to throw the ball well. I mean, this guy has solid starts this season, up and down. He's just been looking very, very good, so nothing really but positive things for me to say about Zach Wheeler, and definitely nothing but positive things to say about the Phillies offense, they're looking like the best offense in the majors right now, guys. I mean, maybe even better than the Dodgers. Maybe they're the best team in the majors. Like, everybody's talking about how they deserve to be the favorites to come out of the National League, and it makes sense to me. This team is second in the majors with 261 runs scored this season. They're also second in the majors in batting average, batting nearly 260 as a team. That is absolutely crazy stuff. We see this whole squad hitting the ball well right now. Bryce Harper's killing it right now. Like, everybody's looking great. Harper's up to 12 home runs and batting 280. Like, this team just killing it right now, absolutely killing it, and not surprised at all to see the odds makers are on the Phillies side. They got the Phillies at -205, the Rangers are +175. We got an over-under of 8 in this game, and we're also looking at the Phillies against the run line. If you take the Phillies -1.5, you can get them at -105. That seems like an extremely reasonable price to me, especially with Zach Wheeler out there on the mound. So I know this is tough. We're betting on a team to just continue winning in this series. I mean, it's a very hot team, but sometimes finishing off these series or, getting dominant lead, like, it can be a little bit tough. But the Phillies are 21-8 at home this year. Like, we just can't ignore trends like that, guys. Give me the Phillies in this one. We'll go ahead and take them -1.5. We're not afraid with Zach Wheeler out on the mound. I think they're going to easily win this game and easily get the cover. So, yeah, go ahead and put this one right in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds. The Padres come into this game. They are playing pretty well all of a sudden. They're in this one fresh off a 7-3 win, so we'll definitely take that, put it on the board. They are only 26-26 on the season, though, so definitely tons and tons of work still to do. This team needs to find some consistency, and they're hoping they can do that by handing the ball to Matt Waldron, but he's only 2-5 on the season with a 5.00 ERA, like, not exactly killing it, but his last 2 starts, guys, have been very, very good, and they were against solid opponents, guys. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up only 2 earned runs against the LA Dodgers. Doesn't get much better than that, guys. And he followed it up with another pretty reasonable outing. He didn't go super deep into the game once again. I mean, he only went 5 2/3 innings, but he only gave up a single earned run on 5 hits while striking out 10 against the Atlanta Braves. Like, that is solid work. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. This guy is throwing the ball well, at least for him right now. And while he's not going super deep into games, we have to at least give him credit where credit is due. Like, he's looked good in his last couple of starts, and I think we can feel pretty good with him out there on the mound. In this one, we can also feel a little bit better about the Padres offense. I mean, they came alive for 7 runs. This is a team, like, definitely should be an amazing, amazing offense on paper, but they've had their problems for sure, guys. I mean, it's been a bit weird. Over the course of the year, they're 8th in runs scored, but it just doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like they have a great time putting up runs on a nightly basis, but I think they're finally back on track at least a little bit here. I mean, they're 6th in batting average in the majors, 7th in on-base percentage. Like, there's no way this team shouldn't be a top 10 offense. There's just no way, guys. And looking at their opponent in this game is a team that is certainly not going to be a top 10 anything, really. I mean, the Reds are 20-29 on the season. They've now lost 4 of their last 5 games overall. Not having a good time. They're not scoring runs, and they're handing the ball in this game to Frankie Montas, who's 2-3 on the season with a 4.37 ERA, and coming off of a decent, we'll say, start against the Dodgers. I mean, he went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 2 home runs in that game. He also walked 3 and only struck out 1. His strikeout numbers haven't been great. He's walked at least 1 hitter in each of his last 5 starts, and he's had a couple starts there where he just had no control. Like, he walked 5 against the Mariners back on the 15th of last month. Like, this isn't a guy that's had fantastic control or been very consistent. Yeah, I just don't have a ton of positive things to say about Frankie Montas right now, guys. I mean, he hasn't been an absolute disaster, I'll give him that, but he also hasn't been a plus-level starter in my book. And the Reds' offense, with how bad it's been lately, they need very, very plus-level starts to even have a chance in these games. I mean, this team not hitting the ball well. They're 21st in the majors in runs scored, down from being like a very good offensive team. They're all the way down to the basement, guys. They're the worst team in the majors in terms of batting average, batting .216 as a squad. Incredibly bad, guys. 28th in the majors in on-base percentage, with an on-base percentage of under 300. 26th in the majors with a slugging percentage of only 354. Like, just straight up not good. We see Elly De La Cruz leading the way for them, batting .256. He's got 9 home runs, but he's only batting .256. Like, not excited at all about this offense, and just not excited about how the Reds look. Looking at the numbers for this game, it's a little bit surprising, guys. We see the Padres at -110, the Reds at -104. We've got an over-under in this game of 9.5. So there's the effect of playing in the Great American Ballpark for you right there. And I mean, it would have been an over yesterday with the final score of 7-3, but looking at the numbers for this game, we are not interested in the over-under, guys. We are definitely interested in the San Diego Padres -110. That's a very, very reasonable number for this team who's been very good on the road this season. They're 15-10 on the road, so that's pretty impressive. We see Cincinnati's only 10-14 at home, and they're handing the ball to a starter that I don't really like, and we've got a decent looking Matt Waldron out there on the mound for the Padres, so go ahead and give me San Diego -110 in this one. I think they're in a pretty good spot. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Atlanta Braves going on the road to take on the Chicago Cubs. We just saw starters and the numbers for this game just get dropped just now, just moments ago. We see that the Braves come into this game, they just won 9-2, so we'll definitely take that. Well done, Braves. In game 2 of this series, they're up to 28-18 on the season, so another positive trend there for Atlanta, and they're handing the ball in this game to a starter who just got confirmed. We'll see, keep an eye on this, like, things could still change around for this game. Definitely handing the ball to AJ Smith-Shawver. He comes into this game 1-0 with a 4.26 ERA, but those are stats from 2023, guys, so he's going to be making his first start of the season coming out of the minor league, so we'll see how he actually does here going up against big league bats. It's going to be interesting. Making your first start of the season can kind of go one of two ways. It doesn't usually result in insane performances, so yeah, I'm a little bit worried here for the Braves putting him out there on the mound. And well, I'm not super worried about the Braves offense, though. They've looked a bit better. I mean, they scored 9, 3, and 3 runs over their last 3 games, so maybe they're rounding back into some kind of form, but this team is nothing like the team we saw early in the season where they were absolutely just killing it. I mean, Marcell Ozuna got off to a crazy start, and I mean, I'm not like here to downplay how well the guys hit the ball this season. I mean, he's still hitting .324 with 15 home runs and 46 RBIs. Like, the guy's looking great, but this team is down to 16th in the majors in runs scored. They're 6th in the majors on base percentage and 7th in slugging percentage, so I do expect that run scored number to come back up a little bit, but how much is it going to come up? The jury's still out on that one for me. We're gonna have to just kind of wait and see, but they're going to need to score some runs here against the Chicago Cubs, who not having the best time lately. They're down to 27-23, and obviously are coming off that 9-2 loss, so things are not looking great. They're handing the ball in this game to Ben Brown, who's 1-1 on the season with a 3.57 ERA, and he's going to be making a start after his last 3 appearances came out of the bullpen, and they looked pretty reasonable out of the bullpen, and he's had some decent success as a starter, but he hasn't gone deep into games, and he wasn't exactly taking on the most elite competition either, so we're not super high on him out there on the mound. I mean, he's a super young guy. He's only 24 years old. He's a super tall, a 6'6" right-hander, so he should be able to throw the ball pretty hard, and and we'll see what he's actually got out there. I'm not super duper high on this guy as a starter, though, and looking at the Cubs offense, we're also not super high on their offense right now, guys. They're down to league average in terms of runs scored, 15th in runs scored, guys, 23rd in the majors, batting only .230 as a team. Yeah, 20th in the majors in slugging percentage. Like, this is not the best hitting team right now, and yeah, looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Braves at -126, the Cubs at +108. We don't really have any faith at all in either starter for this game, guys. Really no faith whatsoever for in this game. No idea what's going to happen. I do think we'll see a decent amount of offense, so the over might be slightly in play, but the Cubs' offense has looked so bad. So in general, guys, I'm just going to slightly lean towards the Braves -126, but this is not going to be a pinned comment play. I'm just taking the Braves because I think their offense is slightly better. But yeah, across the board, this is a just wait and see situation for me because I have no idea what either one of these starting pitchers is going to do out there. Next up on the docket, guys, we've got the Colorado Rockies going on the road here to take on the Oakland Athletics. We see Colorado is currently up 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth right now with 0 outs, so that little Colorado Rockies lean might end up working out for us. Although the Rockies haven't been playing great lately, it looks like they're kind of finding a way in this game, and they've been playing some close games here again in this series against the A's, so it'll be interesting to see what they do in this one, handing the ball to Ryan Feltner, who's 1-4 in the season with a 5.69 ERA, and kind of in need of a bounce back after getting knocked around by the San Francisco Giants his last time out. He gave up 7 hits, 5 earned runs, and only 4 innings of work against the Giants, who are not exactly an amazing offensive team. In his start before that, he did look very good against the Rangers, but his start before that, he got knocked around by the Pittsburgh Pirates of all teams. So this guy's been very up and down and not a ton of consistency this season. So we'll see what we actually get from him out there on the mound in this one. And we'll also have to wait and see what we're going to get from the Colorado Rockies bats, who have not been amazing, guys. They're 26th in the majors in terms of runs scored, 20th in on base percentage. So not exactly a team that we can trust to put up a ton of offense. They are 13th, though, in team batting average, so a little bit above league average. So give them a little bit of credit for that. And they've been finding a way to manufacture some runs, but yeah, over their last, we'll look at their last 4 games here, guys. They scored 4, 1, 4, and it looks like they're going to score 2 runs in this game. So yeah, not a lot of positives coming from the Colorado Rockies bats, and they're going to need to score some runs, although it looks like maybe not too many going up against the Oakland A's, who are now 20-30, looking like they're going to be 20-31 here on the season, and not having a great time. Obviously, this is a team that came into the year with 0 expectations, and maybe they've been slightly better than expected, but they're handing the ball in this game to Joey Estes, who's 1-1 in the season with a 9.35 ERA. Yeah, not exactly the number you want to see an ERA start with, guys. He's going to be making his 3rd start of the year. His first start of the season back on the 11th was very good against the Seattle Mariners. He went 5 innings, gave only a single earned run on 2 hits while striking out 5. His second start, though, back on the 16th was a disaster. The guy only lasted 3 2/3 innings, giving up 8 earned runs, a home run, walking 4 and striking out 4 against the Houston Astros. So, yeah, not exactly what you're looking for there. And the A's bats haven't been great lately either. I mean, they've come alive a little bit. I guess we'll say a little bit. They're not down there with the Chicago White Sox as the worst offense in the majors, but they're only 27th with 185 runs scored overall. That's not great. Only batting .220 as a team. That's not great. Like, this is not a plus level offense. I'm not gonna dilly-dally, not gonna talk a ton about this offense. A's, not a good offensive team. Not a shock to anyone to hear that, I'm sure. Looking at the numbers of this game, guys, we see the Rockies at +107, the A's at -120, and we've got an over-under in this game of 8. Which one of these starters do we trust more, guys? I lean slightly towards Feltner, but only slightly. Not super high on either one of these starters. Also not super high on either one of these offenses, but the fact that you're getting the Rockies at +107 kind of makes me lean towards Colorado in this game. I don't think we like them enough to be betting the Rockies ourselves. Just a slight lean on Colorado +107 from me, and maybe a slight lean towards the under with neither offense looking great, but I'm not going to be involved in the over-under on this game, guys, and I'm barely going to be involved here on the Rockies +107. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we've got the Toronto Blue Jays going on the road to take on the Detroit Tigers. We saw Toronto get the very comfortable 9-2 win in their last game of their series against the White Sox, and coming into this series, they've got to be hoping they can, string some things together, get things pointed in the right direction, because this team is only 22-26 on the year. Not exactly where they wanted to be. They're handing the ball in this game to Kevin Gausman, who's 2-3 on the season with a 4.89 ERA, and he's coming off of a, I don't know, it feels like kind of a lucky start against the Tampa Bay Rays, if I'm being honest, guys. I mean, he went 6 innings, but he gave up 8 hits, only 3 earned runs, giving up 8 hits. feels a little bit lucky to me. He struck out 6, walked 1 in that game, and yeah, that was actually a big bounce back start for him after getting shelled by the Twins. He's had his good outings this season for sure. I mean, he gave up only 1 run over 7 innings of work back on the 28th of last month against the Dodgers. But that start was like a month ago, so we're not exactly going to be giving him tons of credit, tons of credence for that particular outing. I mean, it was a long time ago, and yeah, he's going to have to pitch pretty well here for the Blue Jays, who haven't been great offensively this season, but they're coming alive a little bit. I mean, they won 9-2, lost 5-0, but then they scored 9 and 5 runs in the 2 games before that, so things are looking up a little bit. This team is, however, only 29th in the majors in runs scored, guys. That's not going to work. 25th in team batting average, 23rd in slugging percentage. Like, just not a great team up there at the plate this season, and they haven't been able to change that. It's been a trend here that's lasted for quite a while, and they're going to need to find a way to score some runs here going up against the Tigers, who not having a great time, guys. They've now lost 4 in a row. They just finished off their series against the Kansas City Royals by getting swept, losing that last game 8-3, so that's not great. This is another team that struggled offensively, and they're handing the ball in this game to Jack Flaherty, who's 1-3 on the season with a 3.79 ERA, and coming off a very good start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he went 6 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, and he struck out 9. He did walk 2 in that outing, but that's not too bad, guys. This dude has been fantastic at times this season, and maybe a little bit mediocre every once in a while, but since that outing against the Cardinals back on the 30th of last month, where he struck out 14, he has looked very, very good against the Guardians, the Houston Astros, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So definitely looking at Flaherty as a plus starter in this game. And looking at the Tigers offense, though, man, looks like Flaherty's going to be having to throw some absolute crazy stuff out there, because he is very unlikely to get run support, guys. This team, their leading batter, their best hitter on the team, it looks like right now anyway, is Riley Green, who's batting .239 with 9 home runs. Like, that is that what we're supposed to get excited about as a hitter? Like, no, that's not going to work for me. That's not going to get it done for me. They're 20th in the majors in runs scored, 20th in the majors in batting average, 23rd in the majors getting on base at a 303 clip. Like, this is just not great, guys. This is a bad offensive team. Absolutely no way around it. Over the last 4 games, they've scored 3, 3, 3, and 4 runs, which is actually not terrible given how this offense has looked over the course of the year. So, not feeling great about the Tigers offense, and neither are the odds makers, guys. We see the Blue Jays at -118, the Tigers at +100, and we've got an over-under in this game of 7.5. We do see that Toronto isn't great on the road. They're only 10-14 on the road, but Detroit is also not great at home. They're only 10-13 at home. We're definitely looking at Flaherty in this game as the better starter, but the Blue Jays as, I guess, the better offense. Guys, I don't like this game at all. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm very unlikely to be on this game. If you're making me bet it, I guess I lean slightly towards under 7.5. If this was an 8.5, sure, we'll take the under, but yeah, not going to be putting an under 7.5 in the pinned comment. Don't really love this spot at all. I do think both starters are in for decent outings for what that's worth, but yeah, maybe give me a slight lean towards the under, but I'm off of this game. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. Man, Baltimore cannot feel great right now. Coming into this game fresh off of whatever weirdness just took place in St. Louis, guys. They managed to get swept in that series overall, but I bet it feels like they got the real short end of that stick. I mean, they had that super weird game in game 2 that got like rain delayed and then restarted on the morning of Wednesday. So just like tons of weirdness. Then the second game, they played another game that day and they ended up losing that one 5-4 after being up at different points. It's just been a whole mess. It was a crazy mess of a series. I'm sure the Orioles are very excited to just get out of St. Louis, get back to normal. They're in Chicago now, so they didn't have to travel far, and they can just turn the page on that weird debacle of a series. They're 29-18 on the year, handing the ball in this game to Grayson Rodriguez, who's 4-1 overall with a 3.15 ERA, and comes into this game fresh off of a fantastic start. Actually, back-to-back fantastic starts, guys. I mean, the dude hasn't given up a run over his last 11 2/3 innings, over his last 2 starts. He had a bad start against the Angels back on the 23rd of last month, and then his next 2 starts, he looked very good against the Yankees, then he missed some time, and then he looked very good against the Seattle Mariners, giving up only a single hit over 6 innings while striking out 7, giving up no runs. So that was his first start back off the IL, and man, did he look good. The Orioles probably feel great handing him the ball in this one, and while they probably don't feel amazing about their offense has been very good this season in general. They scored 4, 1, and 3 runs against the Cardinals, and they also had 1 start against Sonny Gray, the Cardinals' best starter, and a guy who's been lights out at different times this season. So we'll cut him a little bit of slack for that one. They're still 10th in the majors in runs scored. They're still in absolute all alone in first place with a team slugging percentage of 438. So this is a team that can definitely count on themselves to score some runs. It's generally via the long ball, but that's okay with them. They don't care about that. They probably feel great coming into this game going up against the Chicago White Sox, who are 15-35 on the season, so not looking too great through their first 50 games here. They lost 9-2 in their last game, and yeah, not a lot of positives right now. They're handing the ball in this one to Mike Clevenger, who's 0-2 on the season with a 5.56 ERA, and coming off of a almost decent start. We would have given him a decent start if he'd have went at least 5 innings, I guess, but only 4 2/3 innings. The guy still hasn't made it to a 5-inning start this season. It's only his fourth start overall, but yeah, his last time out against the Yankees, gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs over 4 2/3. That's not exactly lighting the world on fire, guys. So not crazy high here on Clevenger, although he is facing a team that maybe is swinging some cold bats, but I really don't feel like that's the case for the Orioles. And yeah, the team swinging the coldest bats of the season, all season long by far, is the White Sox, guys. They're dead last in runs scored. They are dead last in on-base percentage, and they are dead last in slugging percentage, guys. They've gotten up to 29th in the majors in batting average, hitting .217 as a team. Absolutely terrible offense. Not going to waste a ton of time here talking about how bad the Chicago White Sox offense is, guys. It is freaking bad. Look at the numbers for this game. We see the odds makers agree with us. The Orioles are minus 225 in this game. The White Sox are plus 205. We see that Baltimore is 12-8 on the road. The White Sox are 10-14 at home. We see if you take the Orioles minus 1.5, you can only get them at minus 145. So that is a very expensive price, guys. But nevertheless, that's going to be my lean in this game. Give me the Orioles minus 1.5. Get them at minus 145. Not great, a very expensive price. We'll see if this ends up in our pinned comment. I think that expensive price might scare us off a little bit, but definitely on the Orioles in this game. I think they're going to bounce back and really just take it to the White Sox and Clevenger, who, yeah, aren't going to be ready for the onslaught that's going to come on because this team is probably pissed off after what happened to them in St. Louis. That's all the games we have here on this short Thursday slate, guys. Hit the like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.